Aye.
Mr Speaker, thank you. Mr Speaker, I haven't been here long enough to play the silly game where I pretend that the vote is going to be any other than it is. We all know what the vote's going to be, so I'm going to use my last 5 minutes just to remind those listening of a few facts, and they are these. The Labor Party cynically ignored the people who demanded a referendum on this question prior to the last election. More than 300,000 of them. And there was plenty of time to conduct that referendum at the same time as at the election. And they decided not to, Mr Speaker, because they knew very well that while they were probably going to lose the election, if they drew the attention of the public to their stand on this issue, they would definitely lose it. So they cynically delayed it. They cost the country a couple of $1 million to $10 million to do a postal referendum 6 months later. But it didn't work, Mr Speaker. It didn't work. 1.4 million people. 1.4 million people took the trouble to fill in their ballot paper, go down to the post office or whatever, and post it. And 1.4 million versus 100,000 said that a light smack should not be a criminal offence. And it is, Mr Speaker, make no mistake. What we've heard on this other side, there's some truth in what they say. There may well be some good police discretion being operated, but that's not the point. The law as it stands criminalises anyone who smacks their child for correction. And that party cynically ignored 1.4 million people. This party is doing the same, exactly the same. And members over there, and again, I haven't been here long enough to play the game, Mr Speaker, so I'm sorry if I'm breaking some conventions. During today, member after member after member on that side has called me, spoke to me and said, make it stop, make it stop. What are you talking about? The emails that have been flooding into their offices today of the thousands and thousands of people. I had nothing to do with it, Mr Speaker. Didn't know what they were talking about. There was nobody I could call to make it stop, even had I wanted to. Mr Speaker, everyone forgot that Section 59 was only ever a defence. We've had stupid speeches in this House since I've been here about defences. Provocation was another one. This foolish idea that if you offered up a defence, it would work. Well, Mr Speaker, Section 59, more often than not, didn't work. It was a defence. Mr Speaker, what's going to happen very shortly is a spit in the face of all of those parents, those 1.4 million people in this country who voted by postal referendum, took the trouble to vote and said, we do not think that it should be a criminal offence to smack your child for the purposes of correction. It's a spit in those people's face. It is 122 of us saying, we know better than all of you. Now, that is just utter arrogance that I thought we'd got rid of with that sad lot over there. Mr Speaker, as I said it in my first speech, the bill fails the second test of efficacy. Had there been a plummet in instances of child abuse since this law was passed, well, I think we would have quietly let it fade away. But it hasn't, Mr Speaker. As I've said, since the Act was passed, 20 children have been killed. Sue Bradford said, the author of the bill said, 18 months ago, that she knew that it would not stop one bad parent bashing their child, and she's right. So it's failed the test of democracy and it's failed the test of efficacy. It has not worked. It has not reduced child abuse at all. And that nonsense, frankly, from Sir William CEO, Mr Speaker, it was almost comical. It was almost comical, the way he was telling it. In 18 months, we've become this wonderful, loving, non-violent society. Well, only if it was so. It hasn't happened, Mr Speaker. We keep on bashing children because the people who are bashing and abusing are not the good parents who wish to smack their children. So go ahead, Mr Speaker. I say to members, do what's going to happen, spit in the face of 1.4 million people, but we're putting it down in Hansard that we in this party say we think that you know better than we do, that decisions on parenting are better made by you than us.
I regret to advise the member that his time has expired. The question now is, members, that the motion be agreed to. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary opinion will say no. No. The noes have it. No. party vote is called for. Clerk, please conduct the party vote.
New Zealand National,
58 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour,
42 votes opposed.
Green Party,
9 opposed.
ACT New Zealand,
5 in favour.
Māori Party,
Toko whā e whakahea.
Progressive,
1 opposed.
United Future,
1 vote opposed.
Honourable Chris Carter. Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 5, the noes are 115. The motion is not agreed to. I now call on members' order of the day number 4.